afternoon and welcome to Adria Karting Raceway here in Veneto, the north of Italy. It was exactly 1 year ago that we welcomed you to this arguably the finest kart racing complex in the world for the opening event in 2014. That was the final cup 1 year ago. Here we are 1 year later. Where has 2015 gone? And we're getting ready for the 2015 WSK Final Cup. Thank you for joining us live right here on WSK.it. We're about to get underway with the first of our 4 finals this afternoon. Possibly the last time we will see the KF class in action in international competition. You're looking on screen at Lorenzo Travisanuto and Bent Fiscal, or you were a moment ago, wishing the best of luck to Richard Verschoor. That is the front of the grid. We're just a few moments away. There is Richard Verschoor in the 207 Exprit kart. We're just a few minutes away from the first of our 4 finals, as we mentioned, at the KF class. They are on track. It's not the biggest field, but it's very, very talented. We feature the 2 reigning current world champions in Karol Basz and Logan Sargent. But the man who's been quickest all weekend is on screen now. It is the Dane, Nicklas Nielsen, in the 203 Tony Kart to the left of your screen. He will start on pole position. Alongside him, the very impressive driver from Bucharest, Romania. That is Marco Dionysis for Ward Racing in a virtually identical Vortex-powered Tony Kart. On the outside of the front row of the grid is Marco. The 201 kart, there he is. The man who became the first driver from Poland ever to win the World Karting Championship. Number 201 for Kosmic Racing Department. Karol Basz will start out of grid at number 3 here this afternoon. Alongside Richard Verschoor from Benschkoppe in the Netherlands, just 14 years of age. Very impressive is this young kid for RB Racing. We'll start out of grid number 4. The third row of the grid. Stepping up from juniors from Brazil is 202 Felipe Drugovic. There he is. He's been absolutely superb. He's got the Brazilian national flag on the back of his helmet. You can see also driving for the Kosmic Racing Department. Felipe starts out at grid number 5. He is alongside 206. Lorenzo Travisanuto, there's the front 5 rows off the grid. Look at that. Grid number 7, Logan Sargent, the reigning junior world champion out of 7, alongside Bent Fiscal, the reigning German DKM junior champion. Marcus Armstrong from New Zealand out of grid number 9, alongside Jacopo Genno, the Russian Maxim Martynuk, alongside another German, Julia Leopold. Lorenzo Lux is alongside Vittorio Mangili in the Lewis Hamilton kart as the green flag flies and they're waved away, and Giacomo Rossi and yet another German, Nicholas Krei, rounding out the field. So this is, as you can see, the formation lap for this, the 20-lap final. Race distance of just over 26 kilometres here at the magnificent Adria Karting Raceway, part of Adria International Raceway. As we mentioned, in the north of Italy, just about 80 kilometres to the south of Venice. Beautiful sunny autumn day here, just about 10 kilometres from the Adriatic coast. You are watching us live, the 2015 WSK Final Cup. The front row of the grid is all Tony Kart. It is Denmark versus Romania. Nicklas Nielsen in 203 alongside Marco Dionysis. Second row, as we mentioned, Karol Basz, the reigning 2015 world champion, alongside Richard Verschoor. Second formation lap for this, the final. Well, Karol Basz did qualify fastest in a very cold and almost wet track, let's say damp, on Friday evening. There wasn't much rubber down. But from there, it was Nielsen who's taken 3 heat wins from 3 starts. He also won the pre-final earlier this morning in pretty dominant fashion. He starts from pole position in just a few corners' time. For this possibly the final time we will see the KF category in international competition, because in 2016 we welcome back direct drive racing with the new OK categories in CIK and WSK international competition. So here they come around the final few corners. They will form into 2 perfect Indian file rows. This is the final corner of the track. Nielsen to the left of your screen. Dionysis from Romania to the right. Dionysis has got a good start. Can he take the outside? No, in fact, he's lost a position as well to Karol Basz. Nicklas Nielsen down the inside into the Bet Italy number 2 turn. Nielsen leads from Basz. Brilliant start by Felipe Drugovic. The boy from Brazil is up into 3rd spot, just ahead of Dionysis. Dionysis has got past, and Drugovic, just as we said how good a start he made. He's lost 3, 4, 5 places. He's gone from 3rd back to 10th, possibly even 11th, in the space of 3 corners. Nielsen from Basz. This is going to be a sensational fight over the remaining 19 and a half laps. Nielsen, who's dominated this weekend, but he's got the reigning world champion behind him. That is Karol Basz. Basz looks behind him. It's a long, long way back to Lorenzo Travisanuto. The Italian driving for the German KSM Schumacher team is in position number 3. Ahead of Dionysis, a great start by Marcus Armstrong. Dionysis has gone up the inside. Dionysis on Travisanuto. Dionysis is into 3rd spot. He's taken Marcus Armstrong with him. We go back to the front, and it is Nielsen with a very slight lead over Karol Basz. It's a long way back to the rest of the field, almost about 100 metres. They're dicing amongst themselves, allowing the front 2 to get away. Unfortunately, we've already lost the OK1 kart of Lorenzo Lux. The Swiss driver is parked on the infield and will take no further part in this race. There is Nielsen across the line. The gap is just 0.2 of a second to Karol Basz. I can tell you the warning flag has also gone out to Nicklas Nielsen. The sportsmanship warning flag. No penalty, just a warning to say the stewards are watching him. 3rd place is Dionysis. Travisanuto Armstrong back in 5th spot. The kid from New Zealand. Richard Verschoor, Maxime Martinuk, Logan Sargent, the reigning junior world champion, stepping up to the senior class. He is there in 8th spot as you watch Richard Verschoor make a move. Verschoor has gone through on Armstrong. There he is, the Dutchman against the New Zealander. The Dutchman in the purple RB Racing Exprit kart. There he is. We go back to the leaders. Nielsen, the gap last time was 0.2 of a second. It's blown out to 0.3 of a second. Let's look at the replay. Richard Verschoor up the inside, and he takes the Kiwi. Marcus Armstrong, he's demoted a spot further back to position number 6. Richard Verschoor on the charge. And fastest lap of the race, as you can see, goes to Marco Dionysis, who currently occupies the virtual 3rd step of the podium. Watch Richard Verschoor. Next in line is the Italian, Lorenzo Travisanuto. As we mentioned through the pre-final, this is the 3rd different team he's driven with this year. But he's found a home, he's found speed in that KSM Schumacher Racing Tony Kart, but not enough to hold off the Dutchman Richard Verschoor, who slots that Exprit up the inside. Verschoor moves up another position. Well, he didn't make the best start. He was out of grid number 4, but got shuffled back on the exit of this very corner 4 laps ago. No surprise to see he has set the fastest lap of the race. He's now in position number 4. Next in line is the Romanian Marco Dionysis. The gap from your leaders, Nicklas Nielsen and Karol Basz, back to Dionysis. It's about 2.5 seconds. It's 0.4 of a second from Nielsen to Basz. In real terms, it's about 8 kart lengths. There's Basz. Dionysis from Romania for Ward Racing out of Sweden. Nielsen down the start-finish straight. Basz makes an adjustment on that Vortex engine on the carburetor. Well, Nicklas Nielsen did finish on the podium at the World Championships, but it wasn't on the top step. The race was won, of course, famously on that day at La Conca Muro Lecese by the driver in P2, number 201 from Poland, Karol Basz, 24 years of age. He's still got the smile on his face from winning the race on that day. Nicklas Nielsen, he's not the world champion this year at least, but he's determined to finish the year on a high and take out the WSK Final Cup. He completed quarter race distance of this, the KF category final, in the lead. He drifted onto the start-finish straight. The gap out to 0.7 of a second. Then we go back to Marco Dionysis in third spot. Karol Basz from Poland, as we mentioned, factory driver with the Kosmic Racing Department. 201. Did qualify fastest. Very cool and overcast conditions, almost damp conditions on Friday evening. But from there, Nielsen, from just outside Copenhagen in Denmark, has dominated with 3 heat wins. The only driver who has led this weekend, apart from Nielsen, is the man on screen now, Marco Dionysis from Romania. But in just a few corners' time, he's going to have a big problem in the form of Richard Verschoor. A few corners' time right now, because Verschoor has gone through up into position number 3. Nicely done by Richard Verschoor. Can he catch the leaders? He has again set the fastest lap of the race as we look at the replay. Nicely done. Remember, for this race at least, they still have front wheel disc brakes in 2016. We go back to rear onboard disc brakes only. Richard Verschoor making very good use of that right-hand hand-operated front brake system on that RB Racing Exprit car. Had everything locked up going into the hairpin. The young Dutchman, he's now up into position number 3. Well, can he catch the leaders? Can he put the challenge to Nielsen if Karol Basz can't? He's already starting to pull away from Dionysis. We go back to Lorenzo Travisanuto, who's doing a fine job in 5th. Logan Sargent from Florida in the United States. He's in 6th, having got past the flying Kiwi Marcus Armstrong. But just as I say that, I think Armstrong has... Yes, in fact, that is correct. Armstrong is sitting there ahead of Ben Fiscal. The young Dutchman also racing with KSM Schumacher Tony Kart out of Köpen in Germany. As Giacomo Rossi makes a move on the Russian Maxim Martinyuk. They're both trailing Jacopo Genno for the final spot inside the top 10. And I think they've both taken him. Martinyuk, Genno, Drugovic is just ahead of them. Just goes to show the depth of field with 12 laps remaining. Yes, Ben Fiscal having his first run in seniors this weekend. On Thursday, it was his first time using a front wheel braking system. He's the reigning DKM German champion in the KF Junior category. And he's doing a fine job running in position number 9 behind Felipe Drugovic and Marcus Armstrong. Armstrong, I hate to say it, but he's still got the smile on his face from the All Blacks winning the Rugby World Cup about 15 hours ago. But we won't talk too much about that, given the team they beat was Australia. Marcus Armstrong, though, position number 7. Behind Logan Sargent, as ever, driving for Ricky Flynn Motorsport. In the Alonso chassis, look at the gap from Nielsen, now back to Karol Basz. Was 1.3 seconds last time round. It's now out to nearly 1.5. Richard Verschoor, though, is starting to charge. He's just set a fastest lap of the race, 48.151. He's at 1.2 seconds behind the pole, the reigning world champ. In real terms, about 20 or 15 kart lengths. Fastest lap, there it was, 1.51 for Verschoor. Faultless performance this weekend so far for Nicklas Nielsen. He has just completed a half race distance aboard the factory Tony Kart, number 203, 3rd in the world this year. Of course, he made his debut in the KZ Gearbox category as well at Le Mans, the KZ World Championships, where he qualified a remarkable 3rd. A lot of speculation as to who will feel the vacant seat at Tony Kart, left by the departure of Flavio Camponeschi. That sent shockwaves through the paddock just a week or two back. Nicklas Nielsen, the favourite to drive the green machine in the gearbox category in 2016, although I believe no decision as yet. Karol Basz, we'll see him back next year in the OK category, attempting to defend his world title. He's going to have to defend second place in a moment because Richard Verschoor, the Dutchman, is getting a little bit closer. He goes down through the Magny-Cours chicane, christened as such because it's reminiscent of the final few corners at the now ex-Formula One French circuit. Dionysis in fourth spot from Travisonuto. The Italian in the German team is in fifth. Then we go to Sargent, having a reasonable run in position number 6, ahead of Drugovic, who's now got back past Marcus Armstrong. Viscal is in 9th. Jacopo Genno rounding out the 10. Good drive also from Julia Leopold, another German. She's sitting just outside the top 10, but ahead of the Russian Maxim Martinyuk for the Seebeke Racing Parts CRG team, also out of Germany. Behind them, Giacomo Rossi, Vittorio Mangili, Nicholas Cry, the final runner, because of course we lost Lorenzo Lux on the opening lap of the race. The gap is 1.7 seconds from Nielsen back to Bash, but Richard Verschoor has just set another fastest lap, 48.051. There he is right on the tail of the reigning world champion. He's currently on the 3rd step of the podium, but any moment now I'd suggest he's going to be on the 2nd step. 6.5 laps remaining and he's catching him. He's catching him at a ferocious pace. The move's going to come in a few corners' time, be assured of it. Up the hairpins where he's done it the last few laps. He's not quite close enough this time. Bash still in 2nd in the Kosmic kart. Verschoor in the Exprit for RB Racing. Of course, Verschoor did finish 6th at the World Championships at La Conca Muro Lecese. Flat out down through Bet Italy turn number 1. Had a bit of a look through turn number 2, the never-ending right-hand sweeper. Over the ripple strip, still a very clean driving line from Bash. This is where it starts to get a little bit more difficult for Verschoor. The kart he has to get past in just a few moments' time is that of the reigning world champion, Karol Basz, 24 years of age, from outside Warsaw in Poland. Up the inside goes Richard Verschoor. Bash tries to defend, takes the high line, looks behind him. He can't do anything about it. The Flying Dutchman is now up into position number 2. Richard Verschoor. What a recovery after a dreadful start. He's now in 2nd spot. Nicely done. Bash tried to fight back. He knew he was coming. He could hear the TM-powered Exprit, even if he couldn't see it, till the very last moment. Verschoor, well, he's got 5 laps to do it. Can he shave 1.9 seconds off your race leader, Nicklas Nielsen, and win the WSK Final Cup for 2015? Well, it's not impossible, but it's going to be a damn difficult task for the Dutchman. You just saw a glimpse of Nielsen going through. There he is. Well, the gap, let's have a look. Last time around, it was 1.9 seconds. Remember, Verschoor did have to make the move on Bash. Did that cost him time on the ripple strip? The gap, it is out to, no, it is down to 1.8 seconds. So a 1/10 of a second last time around, even though he was making that move on Karol Basz. Flat out down the start-finish straight at 129 kilometres an hour for these KF karts. Verschoor has already dropped off Karol Basz. Dionysis sits there in 4th spot. Logan Sargent has now got past Lorenzo Travisonuto. The American is now up into position number 5. Doing a nice job. Travisonuto holding off Felipe Drugovic. Then we go back to Ben Viscal, just ahead of Armstrong. And Jacopo Genno rounding out the top 10. Nielsen, 3 laps to go to take victory here. Remember, he's the reigning 2015 WSK Supermasters Series. He won that title at La Conca Muro Lecese back in April of this year. He didn't have such a good run in the European Championships. This boy did, though. Richard Verschoor. He had a great run. Nothing was really expected of him. And he finished 6th in the world title. He's currently running in 2nd with 2.5 laps remaining. He's got 1.8 seconds to catch the race leader, Nicklas Nielsen. Nicklas Nielsen has been in command of a lot of races in the past and had some sort of problem on the remaining few laps. I can't see it happening now with 2 laps remaining. The gap is down to 1.6 seconds. Richard Verschoor's driving a superb race. You can see there, Logan Sargent is now up into position 5, right behind Marco Dionysis. So the podium is currently Nielsen in a Tony Kart from Denmark, Verschoor in an Exprit kart from Holland, Karol Basz in a Kosmic kart from Poland. So a lap and a half to go for Nicklas Nielsen. Verschoor's getting very much closer to him, but he's surely going to run out of laps. So you caught a glimpse of Basz currently occupying the 3rd step of the podium. The gap is down to 1.5 seconds. There's Dionysis. A good weekend for the Romanian. He's going to come home in position number 4, but no one is going to catch Nicklas Nielsen. The gap is too much for Richard Verschoor. What might have been had he not had such a bad start. But let's take nothing away from Nicklas Nielsen. Didn't have the best luck throughout 2015, but he's going to finish the year on a high. He's got a few corners to go as he comes through the Vega sweeper. Turns the Tony Kart left over the ripple strip. Very, very smooth driver is Nicklas Nielsen. Just a few corners to go. Well, he may have missed out on the World Championship, but he will finish 2015 on a high. The checkered flag goes to Nicklas Nielsen. He wins the WSK Final Cup for 2015. 2nd place, a brilliant drive by Richard Verschoor. He comes home in 2nd spot. And Karol Basz, the reigning world champion, comes home in position number 3. Good drive by Marco Dionysis. He finishes the weekend in 4th spot. Logan Sargent, the reigning junior world champion. He was 5th. One ahead of Lorenzo Travisanuto, who's had a pretty impressive weekend. His first time out with KSM Racing. One ahead of the brilliant young boy from Brazil, Felipe Drogovic. Watch out for him in 2016. He's finished ahead of Marcus Armstrong, Jacobo Geno, making it up to 9th. He, in fact, got the better of the highly rated young Dutchman, Bent Fiscal. So well done, Jacobo Geno finishing in 9th. Ahead of Bent Fiscal. Julia Leopold was 11th. She did come home ahead of Martinuc, Giacomo Rossi, Vittorio Mangili, and we lost Nicholas Krei, the German, and the Swiss driver Lorenzo Lux on the opening lap of the race. Well, he may have missed the world title, but he has won the 2nd edition of the WSK Final Cup held here at Adria Karting Raceway. Nielsen, top step of the podium. Not a bad way to finish the year in the sunshine here of Adria. Verschoor, a brilliant drive and the fastest lap of the race as well for the Dutchman. Karol Basz, the reigning world champ, 2:01. He's come home 3rd, the final step of the podium. So that may well be the final time that we see the KF category in international competition. As we look at the highlights of the race, Nicklas Nielsen, he won all 3 heats. He won the pre-final. He led the final from the start. Karol Basz was hung out to dry. Richard Verschoor didn't make the best start, but he started to work his way back through the field. There he was passing Armstrong, getting past Trevisanuto, Dionysis, Nielsen. Out front, there was Verschoor. That was the move for 2nd spot on the reigning world champion. Nielsen was delighted. He wins the final WSK race of 2015. And in just a moment, we will bring you the official podium presentations here at the magnificent Adria Karting Raceway here in the sunshine of the north of Italy as the drivers make their way back from Parc Fermé. So stay with us. We'll take a very short pause. We'll bring you the podium presentations. After that, we will have the second of our 4 finals here this afternoon. That is also for a KF class, but for the junior drivers. The KF Junior final scheduled to take place any minute now, but we have to wait for the podium presentations, of course, for the KF class, followed by KZ2, and we will finish the WSK Final Cup for 2015 with the 60cc mini category. Stay with us. We will have the official podium presentations for the KF category live right here on WSK.it from Adria Karting Raceway. We'll see you on the podium in just a few moments. About to get underway with the official podium presentations for the KF category as we await the 3 drivers to make their way up to the podium. Well, let's get underway with the official podium presentations, possibly the last time we see the KF category in action. Welcome to the 3rd step of the podium, the reigning world champion, Karol Basz. Second place and a brilliant drive, Richard Verschoor. Finishing the year off with a victory for the factory Tony Kart team. He's won the 2015 WSK Final Cup, the winner, Nicklas Nielsen! And the trophies to be presented. 3rd place to Karol Basz. 2nd place to Richard Verschoor. And the 2015 WSK Final Cup champion, Nicklas Nielsen. As we stand by for the national anthem of Denmark. Ladies and gentlemen, your podium for the KF category. So we step in here for a quick word. Reigning world champion Karol Basz, third today, not quite quick enough to catch this man, Nicklas Nielsen.
Yeah, this time was really difficult, but it's okay because last race of the year and podium again, so I am happy for that. We are world champions, so it's enough.
Karol, you're still smiling, of course, from winning the World Championship 2 months ago. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Richard Verschoor, second place, not the best start, but a great comeback through the field to finish second. A few more laps, you may have actually caught him.
Yeah, sure, really quick. On the beginning of the weekend, we were struggling a bit, but we kept working, and hard work pays off, so.
Congratulations, Richard. Nicklas, I know you're still a little bit disappointed from the World Championship, but a great way to finish 2015. You've won the WSK Final Cup.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a good weekend, some good races in the qualifying heats as well. Pretty good fights with Marco Dionisius and Karol as well. Armstrong was there sometimes as well. So, I mean, like, yeah, the pre-final and final just went really good for us. And, yeah, of course, thanks to Tony Kart for this.
Congratulations, Nicklas, Karol, and, of course, Richard. We'll see you back in WSK in 2016. Stay with us. We'll have the KF Junior final in just a few moments.